Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is going to be about the truth of why people are actually leaving the city of Boca Raton, Florida, and not just Boca Raton, but the entire state of Florida. So stick around, we're going to be talking about stuff that nobody else is talking about in their videos, because it's not just about the climate. We're going to be talking about income gentrification, politics, and everything else, so stick around to the end of the video. Alright, we can't start a video about why people are leaving the state of Florida without talking about one of the most important things that affects everybody in the entire state if you're already living here or you're considering about moving here, and that's going to be the price of housing. So the median sales price in Boca in February 2020 was $470,000 for your median sales price for a house. Jump forward to October 2023, and that's over $1 million. So just take that in consideration. We had over a 230% increase in property values within the course of a few years. Now, while a lot of people's incomes have jumped, your stock market, your portfolios have increased, nobody's really seen a 230% increase in their actual incomes. So this has affected a lot of people's purchasing power through the entire state. And it's not just the home values, but also the rents. The rents themselves have increased greatly as well. All right, so the current rent price for the average place here in Boca, including townhomes, condos, single family houses, is right around $3,500 a month, according to Zillow. But if you're looking for a single family house for you and your family to rent, or you're trying to figure out if this is a great spot for you, it's over $5,200 a month just in rent. Now, there also are places in Florida that are still way more affordable. We have Pensacola, Florida. For a single family house, it's still below $2,000 a month to rent a place there. So if you're looking for affordable options, definitely consider the city of Pensacola. It might be an option for you, especially if you're selling your house here in Boca and you want to relocate, or you're trying to find a cheaper place in Florida and you want to have great beaches. Pensacola is a great option for you. Now, getting back to that rent, so $3,500 a month for the average place here in Boca Raton. Now, what does that compare to other locations? Well, let's go up a little bit. So Atlanta, Georgia, their average rent is just $2,000 a month. Washington, D.C. is going to be $2,500 a month. New York City, one of the most expensive places in the entire country, $3,300 a month. In Los Angeles is $2,800 a month. So a lot of people are considering moving down here to Florida, and they're looking at Boca because of the great schools and the great weather and everything they heard about it. But it could be more expensive in your housing price to live here than it is at your place that you're coming from. And the price of housing, it has to be the number one reason why people are actually leaving the city of Boca Raton, is because they can't afford to stay here. Multiple generations of people who've been here for years. Once their kids graduate FAU, I've talked to plenty of kids, the university kids, they're talking about where they're going to move after they graduate. They can't afford to stay here. Now, their only option is to live at home with family. So the future of multi-generation properties here in Boca will definitely be a premium. If you have those in-law suites, if you have multiple bedrooms, you have a large house, it's something that's going to be a premium here in the city of Boca moving forward, if you wanted to keep your family and your kids close to you moving forward. So the price of housing was the number one reason people are fleeing Boca currently. Number two is also about housing, but it's going to be your HOAs and condo fees. These have gotten out of control, guys. So here in Florida, the HOA fees have been increasing greatly over the past few years, and this is due to the increase of insurance costs on these HOA communities. So many HOA condo communities are seeing insurance costs increasing over 40% compared to last year. So when you get your HOA renewal notice and that you're looking at your price increase, it's going to be greatly different going into next year. And this is causing a lot of people not to be able to afford their house and be able to retire in place as they plan, because they cannot control their HOA fees. Another aspect that's affecting a lot of retirees here in Florida has to be the special assessments for the condos. Ever since the Surfside incident, there's been tons of special assessments placed on condos all throughout the state of Florida. That's affected people greatly, because you know what? Out of nowhere, hundreds of thousands of residents here in Florida are being impacted, having to pay over $50,000 within a few months' notice. And this is causing a lot of people to have to sell their condos because you know what? If you don't pay for your special assessment, they would actually foreclose on you. Your HOA, your association themselves could go bankrupt and get bought out by a developer, and you're forced to move out your property regardless if the people in your condo complex can't afford the special assessments. So if you go on Zillow right now, you can see a sudden surge of condos hitting the market all throughout South Florida and throughout Florida in general due to the new rules and regulations on condos. They're being hit with these steep special assessments out of nowhere. And if you're in retirement and you have a fixed income and you have to plan accordingly during your retirement, there's no way you could have planned for this. And this is going to hit a lot of people greatly. Therefore, they're picking up, they're selling their condos while they can and getting them out of here of Florida right now. Now, let's get to a topic that nobody is talking about. It is about the income gentrification of Florida itself. So a recent study have shown that Florida, compared to any other state in the entire country, has had the most amount of high net worth individuals and people making above $200,000 a year moving to our state and our city. In the past few years, there's been over 40,000 people making greater than $200,000 a year moving to our state, more than double than the amount of people moving to Texas. Only saw about 22,000 people making above $200,000 a year moving to its state. Third place was North Carolina at only 11,000. So we are thinking like, okay, who's buying these houses? It's all the high net worth individuals that are moving from these other states into Florida in the thousands, buying up property here to escape tax regulations and changes in their local state and getting a better quality of life while they still can. So what states are losing these people? Guys, if you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Please reach out to me below. I would love to help you and your family relocate to this great state, and stick around to more videos. Keep watching. The number one state losing the most amount of high net worth individuals is by far California. California alone lost over 45,000 high net worth individuals who fled the state, fleeing into these other states, followed by New York City at 31,000 people and New Jersey at only 14,000 high net worth individuals fleeing that state. So what nobody's talking about, the changes in the dynamics of Florida and like how this is not sustainable. Well, there's been laws and regulations that have changed the tax code permanently for state and local income taxes and what you can write off in taxes that nobody's talking about. These people are basically saving tons amount of money by leaving their states. That's why you see the person, the CEO of Amazon, the old CEO, Jeff, leaving Washington State, moving down here to Florida. It's not because he likes the weather. It's because he understands the tax implications of relocating and what the bottom line is on his business and his revenue and his income. And when a lot of these high net worth individuals leave their state, these people don't move by themselves. They move down here, and you know what? They bring all their families and friends with them because they can afford to do that. They like to keep their circles close. So these ultra high net worth individuals are moving their families and friends down here with them, buying up the local properties, and they don't have to worry about working down here because they have their own businesses that they own and operate. So these high net worth individuals don't have to worry about the local employment of Florida because Florida has always been a lower paying state due to no state income tax, and it's mainly a tourist type of environment. There wasn't that many industries here previously, so all these companies that are moving down here, bringing their workers, and their high net worth individuals have drastically changed the landscape of Florida forever. And the only thing that's going to fix this and stop the people fleeing these other states is going to be a tax change in these high tax cities and states. That's very unlikely. They're just going to keep increasing taxes. And as they keep increasing their taxes to their most wealthy individuals, these people are more inclined to move to Florida, buying up the properties from people who've been known to be in more of a low-income environment in a more laid-back state. And you can see this all around when investors come down here and these high net worth individuals, they're buying up these older homes and building their luxury properties that the locals are not meant to afford. It's meant for the out-of-state relocators moving down here, buying up the properties. And there's also a lot of income gentrification because people are forced to move due to the higher costs. So the people who are moving down here can absorb the price of higher insurance onto the population here, while the locals cannot. A lot of the previous locals and residents of the state of Florida, they can't absorb the price of the increase of insurances that keeps going up every year out of their control completely because they live in an older home, unfortunately, or their roof is old. And these insurance companies are going after the lower income people. They're forced to sell. And when they sell, these high net worth individuals move in, tear down the old home, and build their dream home quite easily. And it's causing a income gentrification in the entire state. Small little cities that were just, small little towns, never had any ultra net worth individuals moving in there. Now you can see Bentleys everywhere through the state of Florida that never seen them before. And even the old mansions are being torn down and new ones are being built shortly after the teardown. And because all the displacement, especially down here in South Florida, where are these people going? Well, the people from Boca and South Florida, where they're moving to, they tend to stay in Florida as much as they can, so they just move north. And what they move to mainly is going to be like Orlando. Prices in Orlando are going up because the old high earners here in Boca and South Florida can't afford it anymore. So they're moving up, pricing out Orlando people, Cape Coral, Sarasota, Jacksonville, Florida. They're pricing out the people there. And where do those people have to go? Well, they just keep moving up. They're going to move to Asheville, North Carolina. They're going to move to Atlanta, Georgia. Everybody's just moving up, displacing the people that were there before. And it's like this domino effect, because once the people down here in South Florida get displaced, they go move north and they displace the people, like I mentioned before, in Ocala, Gainesville, Jacksonville, Pensacola, and those people are forced to move up even higher. The people in Pensacola have to move to Alabama. And then you have developers that naturally go in these South Florida places, or even in Pensacola, they go in these low-lying places because Florida's pretty flat. And what they do, they buy up these properties and they put infill, they raise up the new houses. The houses are elevated. And because everything is elevated, once they start buying up the neighborhood, you start realizing it creates this island effect where the new houses are safe from flooding, but because the land is higher at these new elevations for the new houses, it causes more flooding at the old homes. So the old homes get flooded out, developers come, buy up that property, build a new home, make the elevation higher, and it floods out its neighbor's property. And I don't even know how they get away with it. I'll put a picture here. Some cities make them required to start building, flood dams and drainages better to help not flood the neighboring older properties, but it's getting out of control, guys. And the fourth thing is what you probably hear about all the time, but it's home insurance. The average cost in Florida for home insurance is well above $4,000. We're 4 times the national average for home insurance. And South Florida is even much higher than the average of the state. Palm Beach County, Miami-Dade, Broward County, the Keys, good luck getting home insurance. If your roof is over 15 years old, good luck. If you don't have hurricane impact windows, good luck. It's very difficult, and your last resort is just Citizens. And if they drop you, there's nobody. I'm gonna put a picture of what I was getting quote of these home insurance companies outside of Citizens. It could be over $30,000 to insure your house. And what is that going to cost? More displacement. People are going to leave this state in groves. If they can't get insurance for their homes and they're forced to pay this, they can't afford it, guys. They're going to sell their homes and move and get out of Florida. Another reason why people are fleeing the state of Florida is the culture shock. In the Boca Facebook group, it gets asked all the time, where's the best Chinese restaurant like New York City? Well, you know what? There's not that many options for certain types of restaurants down here. So you may have heard that South Florida is a very diverse area, but you know what? It is a diverse area, but it's not evenly dispersed throughout. You have what these so-called pockets are. There's a pocket of this, there's a pocket of that, and you have all these unique little areas throughout South Florida that are not uniform. Not every city is diverse. This diverse city that focuses on that, and not everything's evenly dispersed throughout the state of Florida. And what you get in each city is drastically different. And people need to understand, the more south you go here in South Florida, it feels like a different country. English is not the primary language. And some people just drastically struggle not being able to communicate with the people. I see it all the time, especially as I go down south below Fort Lauderdale. You'll see people like in Macy's yelling at the cashier. The cashier has no idea what they're saying. It just creates this major cultural barrier that these newcomers never seen coming because they just assume it's going to be like New York, where most people speak English and you're able to communicate. Well, unfortunately, here in South Florida, it's not like that. A lot of people think that all of Florida is going to be like Brickell, but it's not. A lot of Florida, especially in Central Florida, is just strip mall galore. And it's the most generic feeling in the entire world. You move down here, you think you're going to get nothing but beaches and paradise and coconut trees, but you're just basically anywhere in the Midwest. You have strip malls everywhere, the exact same stores, and then you're wondering why you're paying more for home values and home insurance when you could have stayed where you were and enjoyed the strip malls there. Next is going to be the weather. People always cite that Florida has this amazing weather that everybody loves. No, they don't, guys. People don't love the amazing weather here. And this is why people are fleeing. It's hot. Last year was really hot here in South Florida. It's hot, it's humid. What people really mean to say is that they love avoiding cold weather and they'll tolerate the heat. Because why? Because we have air conditioner. People in the summer stay in their air conditioned house, they get in their air conditioned car. And that's pretty much it. They stay in an air conditioned environment. They're not even outside enjoying this great weather. Don't let them lie to you. Without air conditioning, they won't be here. They wouldn't be here. That's why Florida was not populated until very recently. Why? Because of the invention of the air conditioner, guys. Florida doesn't have this amazing weather year round. Yeah, winter's great here, but people struggle during summer here. They struggle, and that's why they're leaving. It's too hot. When people like to play professional tennis around here, they have to do it at night. Why? If you play during the summer, you're going to start cramping because it's too darn hot and it's humid as well. So people who don't enjoy the heat, so like for me, I enjoy the heat. I enjoy seeing all the tropical landscaping, the mango trees. It gives me energy. But the heat gets you tired. You want to avoid it. You're going to become a house cat. You're going to stay inside during the summer. You're going to get fat, lazy, and you're going to want to get the heck out of here. You don't want to stay in Florida. And the final thing that nobody's talking about is the politics. So Florida was never this political. I lived in Florida my entire life, and never since like a year or two ago that so much politics has been incorporated into Florida. Living in Florida has become a political statement out of nowhere. I've never experienced this. So there's definitely areas here where you'll hear constantly from people that you work with or just customers or whoever how they're being impacted by living in Florida politically and that their rights are being taken away or this is happening, DeSantis this. And I have never experienced this in my entire life until recently. Living in Florida has become a political statement where people's rights and their ability to have happiness is being affected by living in the state, and people are leaving. And now you may not agree with this. I have no opinion about this really. Only thing I know, I experience people complain about the politics around here all the time. That is affecting their happiness and their well-being, and they can't be who they are, so they're moving out of here. So those are the top 7 things, and some of these are nobody's talking about. The quality of life for certain people. If you believe in a certain thing, you're certain political leaning, if you feel like your kid should be taught something, people are just not happy about the politics here, and they are leaving. Now again, I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Florida. If you have any questions, concerns, you want to be placed in the best area, definitely reach out to me below. I'll love to make it work for you. And hopefully you don't have to flee the state like so many other thousands are. Other than that, take care. Bye. Hey guys, if you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. And if you are still looking to relocate, even after I told you all these negatives to this state of Florida, please reach out to me below. I would love to help you and your family relocate to this great state, and stick around to more videos. Keep watching.